One of my favorite things about Latin countries is the food. I just love it. Today, Brazilian chef Leticia Moreinos Schwartz introduces me to the treats of Brazil.
Oh my God!
After that, I couldn't wait to get back in my kitchen to cook a dish as Brazilian as the samba.
And it's called?
Bacalhau com missa.
It's salt cod, brought to Brazil by the Portuguese. And it's combined with all the good stuff: onions, potatoes, eggs, and olives. On the side, amazing collard greens.
Isn't it so simple?
Then I'll make a really tasty Puerto Rican dish with one of our viewers.
It's a very traditional Puerto Rican dish. It's called arroz con gandules.
Boy, that looks so good. Look at all that stuff in there. Plus, fried plantains that are so addictive.
So if you make them and you think people are just going to eat one,
Forget
big
about
mistake.
it. We're eating Latin style today on Sarah's Weeknight Meals. Danbury, Connecticut is a typical New England town. But if you stop to listen, you might hear a samba wafting through the air. A growing population of Brazilians has brought in new shops and cafes, like Banana Brazil. I went there for coffee with local Brazilian chef Leticia Moreinos Schwartz.
So what do we have here?
So we have a bunch of Brazilian savory snacks and sweets.
Leticia trained and worked as a French chef, but returned to her culinary roots when she moved here. Now she makes these snacks for her kids at home.
This is coxinha de galinha, which is a chicken fritter,
Okay.
and it's in the shape of a drumsticks. But it's really in the shape of a Hershey Kiss,
I'm
right?
not ready, but I'm going to eat it like a drumstick.
Yes,
There we go.
yes.
That's really good.
So good, right?
A lot of spices in there.
Yeah, yeah. And it's fried in breadcrumbs and stuffed with chicken. Then we also have quibe. Now, quibe is an interesting part because in Brazil, we had a lot of immigrants coming in the early 1900s from Syria.
I was waiting for you to say the Middle Eastern.
Exactly.
So tell me what's in there.
So it's made with bulgur and ground meat. This one is so delicious.
Yeah, it's so different. A little peppery, black peppery, I
I
think.
love this preparation. And then here we have two typical pastries from Brazil, which are brigadeiro, the national candy in Brazil. And it's made with sweetened condensed milk. And we
Okay.
do it in many flavors. And this one is with coconut. We call it beijinho. Sarah, I want you to try this cheese rolls.
Ooh.
We call it pão de queijo, and it's very typical of Brazil. From north to south, it's loved all over.
Oh my God.
Isn't
Whoa.
it so delicious?
What a wonderful moist texture.
Exactly, and chewy and
Cheesy.
cheesy and moist.
How does it get that
Right?
wonderful texture?
It's from the yucca flower or yucca flower.
I am so excited to go make some Brazilian food with you.
Me too. I want to take you to this store, which is very nearby. And we can buy all the ingredients that we need to cook. We can buy the salt cod, then the oil, everything is there.
Wow, that's terrific. Let's get going.
Yeah. So Sarah, this Fernandez store is
Wow.
where you can find most things Brazilian.
I should say so.
Right?
Yes. Wow.
Sarah, and let me show you the salt cod.
Oh, wow.
This is what it looks like,
Unrefrigerated, huh?
unrefrigerated, because there's so much salt that it doesn't need to be refrigerated. And this is what Portuguese colonizers used many years ago when exploring the world.
Because this would keep forever because it was salted and dry.
Exactly.
All right, so let's take.
Yep.
We need a whole one, right?
Yes.
But
For our bacalhau com missa. So you need to make sure that you soak it for 1 to 2 days in a lot of water.
okay, and we gotta get home and get soaking it.
Yep.
I'm here to cook a classic Brazilian meal with Leticia Moreinos Schwartz. And it's called, what's it called?
Bacalhau com missa.
All right, no, I could never pronounce that because it's salt cod, which is my
Exactly.
favorite. So where do we start?
So I'm chopping some onions and we are going to cook them in olive oil over low heat.
Okay. And meanwhile, you want me to slice the potatoes to go
would
in
be
there.
great.
Okay, first you need to boil the potatoes. I love salt cod.
Oh my God.
I just love it.
As a Brazilian, me too. It's such an important ingredient in Brazil. You can find it in any supermarket. What's most important when working with salt cod is to desalt it properly, or else our dish is going to be much too
Very salty. Okay, and so you have to soak it for several days, 3 times a day.
Change
the
the
water.
exactly 3 times a day.
And do that for 3 or 4 days.
1 or 2 days is
One?
fine.
Okay, so we have some that we've been soaking. And I guess what you could do is, before you leave for the office in the morning, put some cold water on it. When you come home at night, put
Change
more cold
again.
water. Change the water. And then when you go to bed, change the water.
There you
so
go.
presumably 2 or 3 days later, you have it nicely soaked.
Right, and we're gonna cook it in milk because the milk
let me get the milk.
absorbs the salt better than water.
You know what milk also does, and you may have known this too, that anytime you have something that's very strong flavored, like fish or liver or game, if you soak it in milk, it takes out some of the strong aromas.
There you
so
go.
I'm going to combine these 2 in here?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just lift it out.
Yep.
All right. You can buy it besides the whole side. You can buy center cut pieces.
You can. So we also need some parsley, some olives,
Yes, okay.
potatoes you have.
Yes.
This is looking beautiful.
So these are beautiful. These look like calamata.
Yes.
And they're pitted, is that correct?
That's perfect.
Here, I'm going to move the fish too so you have some room to work. Wow, that is salty. Yikes,
Isn't it?
it's so stiff from all that salt. All right, these are boiling potatoes. And this is your favorite kind to use for this dish?
Yes.
Because they hold their shape, is that
Well,
it?
because they're young and sweet, but you can also use other types of potatoes.
So you're going to do those, I'm going to do these, and then you're going to chop some parsley, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I should get the casserole, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what do we do to the fish? Because so it's simmered for about 15 minutes, and the idea being it softens and gets a little less salty. So show me, I know
So
these are your weapons.
Exactly. So
Okay.
at this point, we want to flake the fish.
Okay.
You can just fork it.
Oh,
We
well,
can do
let's
that.
fork it.
Let's fork it.
You go ahead.
Okay.
We can flake it right in there.
Yep. And we just go like this.
Oh.
Very easily.
Now, if you do it by hand, it's going to be coarser than if you threw it in a food processor.
Right.
Everything just goes in now except, oh, I know we have a fun topping, right? The eggs.
The eggs.
Okay, so should I just dump this in?
Yep.
Okay, there we go. All right. Now, oh, that looks
Now,
so yummy.
cod.
Oh, and our onions. I can get our
Yes.
onions in there.
And I'll go ahead and dump this.
Yes. Okay. Ooh, this looks so good. Now I know we add some olive oil too. Is olive oil very traditional in Brazilian cooking?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Especially in Portuguese cooking.
Should I measure the olive oil or do you want me to just pour?
How about we just eyeball it?
Okay, you're gonna say when. Here we go. Okay.
Maybe some pepper too.
Okay, I will do that.
I think I would say about then.
That's good? Okay.
Right.
And some pepper, and we have eggs too.
Yes.
Which I think is so interesting.
And this combination of cod, potatoes, onions, olives, and eggs, we have so many different dishes, and for each little different step or different thing that we do with the cod or with the potato or with the onion, then the dish receives a different name, you know?
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Can I?
Yes, go ahead. Do you want me to help you a little bit? There we go. Okay, and if you did this with fresh cod, How would you do it exactly?
Then I would keep the cod whole, and I would
think that's
lay
good.
it on top of the onions and potatoes.
And then bake it for a little while and then
Yes.
finish it off.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you love, I have to say, there's certain little gadgets I love, and this is one of my favorites too.
Yes.
Okay, so but you're gonna do, I
Okay.
want you to do it the way you
Okay.
normally do it.
The
So these are
very-
hard-boiled eggs. And then you spread it on top.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so now this goes in the oven for what?
About 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh,
More olive oil.
oh, that looks so delicious. Okay, so if you could open the door for me, I will
Sure.
pop this in. Okay, there we go. And you said about 15, we're just really heating it because everything in there is cooked.
It's cooked, yeah.
Okay, good. So we can make the side dish. And I understand we have a classic.
Yeah. We're gonna saute some collard greens, and it brings me back to the image of the old ladies in Brazil cutting some collards like paper thin.
Wow.
Yeah.
They shave them by hand.
By hand and like hair thin,
Wow.
you know?
Okay, so let me guess, olive oil?
Olive oil.
Okay. And then we've got a little bit of garlic there.
Yep.
Okay, how much
May
olive
I?
oil? Yeah, you do whatever, you're in charge.
Sure.
But if you want more
let's
oil,
go.
let me know.
A little bit more.
Okay. This is great.
We're gonna
Okay.
add the collard greens.
Okay.
And
Who
then
knew
we,
that? You know, it's so funny what crosses over to different countries and different cultures. So collard greens in Brazil.
Yes,
Collard
definitely.
greens in the South.
Yes.
Because of the African influence.
Exactly.
Yes, yes, I see that.
Season with some salt and pepper. So good. You want to taste?
Oh, of course.
Isn't it?
So simple.
I think it's ready.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna get the casserole.
Okay.
Yum. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, piping hot.
Yes. How do you like it?
Delicious. I'm gonna make it. Thank you.
Thank you.
A couple of months ago, we put out a call to action on my website to find a home cook who was passionate about a favorite family recipe. And we found her, and she's right here in my kitchen. This is Carmen Medina. Welcome to my
thanks for
kitchen.
having me.
And I'm so excited because you're making a very famous dish.
Yeah, it's a very traditional Puerto Rican dish. It's called arroz con gandules, or rice with pigeon peas.
Okay.
And I learned it from watching my grandmother cook it probably once a week. And I'm gonna show you how to do it. We're gonna do it together.
So we cook it in this classic pot. This
Yes,
is called
this is a caldero. This is my caldero. And I actually brought, can I show it to you?
Oh, please.
I brought my grandmother's caldero.
Oh my goodness, how
It must be
adorable.
100 years old. Put it right here.
Oh my goodness, it's not even flat.
Right, yeah.
That's wild.
So anyway, this is a classic dish. You can get them, or a classic kind of Dutch oven thing, and you can get them at most Latin stores. So you've been doing the
pork.
The pork.
Okay.
And you don't have to use pork in this dish. You can make it vegetarian, and I often do. I just eliminate all the meat product, and then
So-
it's actually a vegan thing. But right now I'm chopping up this pancetta. I'm the world's worst chopper. So I used to work at the CIA, I have to confess.
The real CIA?
Well, I don't know what you
don't
think
look
is.
like a spy.
You don't think, well, that's what people always tell me. One of the people who worked for me was a great amateur cook. She got tired of the CIA and quit and went to school at the other CIA.
My alma mater, the Culinary Institute
Exactly.
of America.
And she is constantly criticizing my cutting techniques and said it's pretty
You
much
did
hopeless.
just fine.
So what we're gonna do with the pancetta, and we're gonna just let it sit there for a while so that it renders a little bit. And now we're going to add a little bit of oil. we've got regular olive oil, but what we also have is
Wow, look at the color on that.
annatto oil.
Which are these guys, right?
Exactly, and they're so easy to make. You just put the seeds in the olive oil and you render it until the oil
Over
gets
like
the
a
color,
low
low heat until the oil just begins to simmer.
And then just strain it out.
And it helps give color and a little bit of peppery flavor.
I'm just going to mention that was about a half a pound of pork.
Yes.
And about an ounce of pancetta.
And I'm gonna put in a little extra olive oil, although I think we've got a lot of great oil in there.
Okie doke.
And now what we're going to do is add the ingredients for the sofrito. Now, do you know what sofrito is?
I do, but I want to hear it from you.
Okay, well, sofrito is the base for all Latin, Caribbean cooking. So we're gonna add half a cup of onion. So we're gonna put in half a cup of peppers, right?
Okay,
And
green
then the
pepper.
garlic. People could use different kinds of spicier pepper to give it more of a kick. 3 cloves of garlic.
Okay.
Again, to taste. My taste is garlicky.
I love garlic.
Okay. We're gonna put some oregano.
Yes.
About, I'd say maybe a tablespoon. And now we're gonna add the secret ingredient, my culantro plant. And it adds a wonderful, I don't know, herbaceous quality.
Is this related to cilantro?
They're in the same general family. So I'm gonna let you chop.
So just do
You
the
can do
old
them just like bay leaves.
chiffonade.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, but I have to ask you, since
Yes.
you've said that it's not easy to get culantro, what can you use in its place?
Well, you can use cilantro in its place, absolutely.
Okay.
Now we're going to put the rice in the pot and we're going to mix it up with this sofrito so that the rice gets a little more intense flavoring.
Okay, and how many cups?
2 cups.
2 cups. And we're using medium grain rice?
Medium grain, and the actual size of the rice affects how it cooks, right?
Its starchiness,
Yes,
how
right.
much it stays apart.
So
All right, we'll stir that up.
before we add any water, we're going to give it a stir. So I think it's
Let it sit.
they've gotten happy together, so now
Okay.
we can add the water.
Okay. How much water?
So let's just cover the rice.
What do you think, boss? More?
Yes, because we're also going to add the pigeon peas. So put all of that in there.
Should I get a little more just in case?
Yes. Let's add the pigeon peas first.
Okay.
And let's get a scent.
Okay.
And then
And pigeon peas, also known as
gandules.
gandules. Here we
Get
go.
the last of
I
it out.
understand they're very nutritious.
they are. They're a great protein. That's one of the reasons why this makes a great
Vegetarian.
dish because we've
got a lot of protein.
Great protein in there. So if you could add the capers.
Couple tablespoons?
Yeah, a couple of tablespoons of capers.
I love capers.
I'm just going to roughly chop this. And by the way, you do want pimento stuffed olives
yes.
because the pimentos are a classic ingredient in Spanish cooking. So
Give it a stir?
Yeah, we're going to give it a good stir.
Here, you go ahead. You
Yeah.
be the Sturmeister.
I'm going to be the Sturmeister.
Boy, that looks so good. Look at all that stuff in there.
And now we're going to add a little bit of that tomato sauce in there.
Okay, here we go. And how much of this do we want?
I'd say at least half the can.
At least half the can. Okay, very
Okay, that's
scientific. Just regular tomato
Right,
sauce.
regular
okay.
tomato sauce, right? I'm just going to add just a little bit of salt. And now what we're going to do is mound it up.
Now this is interesting, this mountain part. This is new to
And
me.
you can see, by the way,
We're getting a crust.
that we're getting the crust at the bottom, which is, of course, highly prized. That's the best part of the rice. We call it the pegao, P-E-G-A-O, which means stuck, the stuck part.
Oh,
So we have
okay,
it on a medium
fancy.
heat, and now we're going to cover it.
Okay.
And we're going to check it again in about 10 minutes. So it's about 10 minutes, and I think we should check to see
All right.
how it's coming along.
Ooh.
And it's looking
How do you know?
mighty pretty well. It's looking dry, right? I mean, like it's not moist. This would be now the time to get the pork.
This already feels so
Now the
substantial.
pork was mostly done. We browned it, and now it's going to finish off beautifully with the rice. Give it that final layer of flavor.
Should I stir it?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Do I want to scrape up anything from the bottom?
Not really.
Just leave it there.
We're going to scrape the bottom eventually,
But not right now.
Not right now. Look at that. That
Okay.
is, my grandmother would be proud. Oh, I love that sound.
Oh, that reminds reminds you of grandmother.
Of my grandmother.
Okay, so now we're going to put this back, the lid back on.
We're going to put the lid back on.
And
we can lower the heat to low. 10 minutes.
All right, so we'll get ready to do...
Tostones. We're going to fry ourselves some green plantain.
Wonderful.
Okay. Well, we need to heat some oil, and this is just a canola oil.
Say
or
when.
Whatever. Let's see, a little more. Good.
Okay.
Now let's get that heated up. Mm-hmm. And tostones are a very common accompaniment to Puerto Rican food. It's like a finger food and salty, and it goes very well with arroz con gandules. Very traditional. There are 3 types of plantains here. We're going to use the green one because we want that starchy saltiness. These are very ripe, and they're used for sweet, almost dessert-like dishes. And then this middle one, you could make tostones with it, and it just gets a sweeter flavor. Now, we've established that my knife skills are horrible, so I am going to let you do it.
So we cut off both ends, because I understand these are very hard to peel.
And the less ripe they are, the harder they are to peel. And,
okay.
So we're going to
score it.
Absolutely.
A couple spots, and then we just hopefully can peel it off easily.
Hopefully it'll peel off well.
All right, so.
Let's see.
Wow, this is really fun.
Boy, that is great.
So show me about how you want to slice them.
So what I want to slice them is at a diagonal, and between a 1/2 inch and an inch thick. So we'll just kind of slice them like that.
Okay.
All right. So now we're just going to drop
them
in. Yeah. Very
okay.
good.
You see the bubbles on the side.
And it needs about 3 minutes per side.
So I'm now going to cut up our avocado.
Because that's what we're going to eat with the rice.
Right. And we want this in slices, correct? Is that right?
Yes.
Slices.
So lengthwise.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, beautiful avocado.
Yay.
You see the pit just comes right off.
And we're almost ready to take the plantain, the tostones out and squish them.
Okay.
We're going to keep the oil hot because we're going to, after we squish them, we're going to put them back in the oil for just like a minute.
Okay.
Then I'm just going to turn it down so it doesn't get too hot.
Right.
And then I'm going to squish them with this plate.
I imagine with the more ripe ones, they squish further.
Yes, that's another thing.
So you really need some.
So that's a good one.
Some muscle for these guys.
There's a good one.
That's about how squished you want it to be?
Yeah, quite squished.
Very scientific, I'd say.
Yes.
Quite squished.
So.
Now, how do you know when they're done?
Well, really just a minute. I mean.
What are we looking for?
We're looking for this beautiful, almost like a golden
color, remember, because you said they're golden.
Yeah, so here we go. And we're just going to put them on a paper towel, and then we're going to salt them.
Do we salt them now?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
There you go.
Okay. So that's basically it, huh?
That's it.
And just a little salt?
A little salt. Or a lot of salt, depending, but yeah. This.
Do you think I could try one now?
It's going to be hot.
I don't care.
Okay.
Mm. Oh, that is so good. Oh, this is so good.
Okay, let me try one.
Yummy. Did we do good?
Oh, those are
we
really
a good team?
Okay.
Well, we need to plate this up. So we're having rosé here, huh?
Well, my recommendation is rosé. And don't eat any until I tell you about the
How
avocado.
to eat it? Oh, there's a way to eat it.
The combination of the cold, crisp avocado and the aromatic rice is, I think, just a great combination. And so what you want to do is put several of those slices on your plate.
Okay.
And then try to have a slice of avocado with each bite full of rice.
I like
and if
that.
you think about it, this is a principle in Japanese cuisine where they combine avocado and rice together all the time, right? And it's just a very good combination. I
see why.
really enjoy it.
I see why. Oh, you gave me some of the crispy bits.
Oh, well, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, that was very generous
They're the best.
Oh, those are so yummy. I'm gonna have to make those for my kids.
Yeah.
And the husband.
what's a Puerto Rican toast?
Arriba, abajo, al centro, al dentro.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah?
Oh my
You
God.
wanna do it again?
Yes.
Arriba, abajo, al centro, al dentro.
Dentro. Okay. Oh. Brilliant. All right.
All right, well-
are we supposed to eat? Can I eat this with my hand?
Yeah, finger food.
Okay. Oh, American coffee.
I always say the reason I do this show is because I like to teach. Well, today the teacher just got schooled. I learned a new Puerto Rican dish to add to my repertoire, and I made a new friend in the process. When I cook with viewers like you, I really mean it when I say, thanks for watching.